Are you ready to win $100,000? If so, then you've come to the right place. Here at Luxurious Prestigious, as you help us reach 1 million subscribers, we are offering an amazing opportunity for everyone to enter and win huge cash prize giveaways. The more videos you watch in full, like them and comment on them, the more entries you will have in the draw. So don't wait any longer and join us now for your chance of winning $100,000 and more. You do not know about the iconic BBJ or the Boeing business jet. Where did the BBJ come from? Your host, Luxurious Prestigious, delves deeply into every aspect of the Boeing business jet in this video. Comment, like, and subscribe to Luxurious Prestigious. And don't forget to have your notification bell on for more updates. The typical 737 airliner flies 7.6 hours per day with a 1.4 hour-to-cycle ratio based on facts that your host recently examined. As of June 2021, more than 10,727 Boeing 737s will have been manufactured. The Boeing 737's fuselage is identical to that of the company's 1958 Boeing 707 aircraft. Today, though, we're not going to discuss a 707, but a 737-derived aircraft instead.
What?
According to the Boston Business Journal, there is a store that sells women's apparel.
That's suspicious.
Thank you, General Electric, which provided the GE Snecma or Safran CFM 56-7 engines. And Boeing launched their joint venture in 1996 to enter the business jet market. This was a targeted marketing campaign. Since in the 1970s, Boeing sold potential customers a green airplane, leaving it to the buyer to equip it. With long-range fuel tanks, an executive interior, and standard airliner avionics. It also had a 727-100.
This bad boy can fit so much spaghetti.
Isam Ferris was one of the first to buy a brand new 727-200, and we shared a hangar with him. But the BBJ didn't really take off until the 1990s. No pun intended. But Boeing actually created a unique organization for the BBJ to deal with just buyers. The BBJ series, which I'll discuss in a moment, are modifications of the Boeing 737 airliner in this market category. They include business jet-specific interiors and extra fuel tanks for range. The green aircraft is shown below with a new price point of plus or minus $35 million. Will they be available for 30-28 plus interior options, which could raise the base price by another 10 to 12 million? Although the fuselage and wings are still made of aluminum, composite materials are now used in other places, such as the nose cone and wings fairings, to reduce weight. When we see 737 aircraft at commercial airports, we don't consider their size, especially if a 777 is parked next to them. In the case of the Boeing 747, which has a wingspan of just over 117 feet, they appear to be quite modest, but up close, they are enormous. This is the original BBJ 700, which has an 800-wing overall length of 110 feet and a tail of 41 feet 3 inches tall. Keep in mind that the Dash 900 that has been converted to a BBJ is 28 feet longer than this 700 fuselage aircraft. And speaking of size,
they got your on camera.
Finding a hangar for such a big plane can be a problem because most business jet hangar doors are about 28 feet high, which means that 9 out of 10 times the plane will be left outside.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
The typical fuel capacity of the BBJ is 6,875 gallons, which leaves 964 cubic feet of underfloor cargo or luggage room. These capacities are shared between the wings and the center tank. With 225 cubic feet of space, the G550's baggage hold is the largest of any business aircraft. You must add additional fuel tanks like the one in the lower left in order for the BBJ to go the 6,000 miles it was designed to travel. The aircraft may accommodate up to 9 tanks. It's holding approximately 525 gallons, which would give you a range of 6,200 nautical miles. However, notice what happens to your cargo volume if you add 7 tanks. Keeping in mind this monstrous aircraft's equal cargo capacity of a G550. A typical aircraft uses 700 gallons per hour. I'll return to the cargo compartment in a bit. If you do fill the airplane to its maximum fuel capacity of 71,600 pounds, you will be taking fuel away from something else.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Pay attention that the takeoff weight is 171,000 pounds once more, restricted to bigger airports that can handle such weight. Consider that the main gear's footprint is subjected to the equivalent of 40,000 pounds of weight at maximum gross weight. One of the busiest airports is Teterboro, as I'm based at a location that is close to 6,000 feet in elevation. BBJ will not travel to airports in North America that have a 100,000 pound weight restriction.
No! God, please, no! No!
Look at what happens at a 5,000 foot elevation at ISO plus 20 again. Trade-off normal cruise speed is 0.79. And during the summer, we may easily start the day at 75 degrees and approach 100 by the afternoon. You'll start out in the middle of the range up to 8 knots due to a problem with the T-wheel that I'll fix in a while. After around 3 hours, you'll burn up to 370 or 390 steps when you run out of fuel. You'll see that Boeing allows a 12,400 pound interior completion allowance. How can we furnish the interior? I'll start with the cockpit to show you how much goes into this tiny space.
Yeah, boy.
I included a picture before installing the avionics. Naturally, this is an early generation cockpit in relative terms. You'll see that below the main screen that it is reasonably equipped is actually a 6-screen display with a head-up guidance system as the most expensive cockpit option and a second ICAS engine indicating crew alerting system tacked between the two dual FMS. This image shows an airplane in its unoccupied green state. This is the majority of us would see if the plane were being sold to an airline today. Or we would create an executive floor plan showing that we could do with a 79-foot cabin length. Also note the cabin's 11-foot 6-inch height compared to a global 7500, which is a 36-foot length, 8-foot width, and 7-foot cabin height. You'll normally find the forward section. In a moment, I'll show you the crew cabin and main galley. Following the main lounge is a conference room or dining area. Afterward, there is a passenger restroom with a shower, which is obviously followed by a private office, a stateroom, a VIP laboratory, and a shower. Now that the aircraft has its own air stair, it can deplane and board without utilizing commercial gates into the side of the fuselage, neatly folding. Once inside, we pass into the crew cabin, which is a private bathroom and a breathable divan with 3 spaces that can also be used as a workstation. The very well-equipped forward galley can serve 3 complete meals during a 12-hour mission and has enough storage to bring food and supplies on international trips, preventing you from having to buy food in foreign countries. And believe it or not, this is a huge bonus, particularly with all the viruses, also current events.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy person, but they told us, remember? It's only going to be 2 weeks.
When we enter the lounge, it somewhat reminds me of one of Southwest Airlines aircraft. Instead of choosing a seat, just relax in any seat. It opens up a whole other world of flying. The majority of seats have the ability to recline and swivel, and the conference group, which is positioned to the left of the one seat with a forward-facing view, can likewise berth. After entering the conference room or dining area, all seats have these capabilities. An alternative take on the concept is shown in the image to the right, which says comfortable sitting. My goodness, it's definitely a different world. The image to the right, which is more tailored toward the corporate atmosphere, even though relatively few corporations run, is another variant on the topic. You definitely don't want to be seen
I don't have an extended warranty.
because of its significant ramp presence on one of them following the recent layoff of 5,000 employees from the 179 BBJs constructed during the previous 22 years. Each one appears to have been created and set up with a particular purpose in mind. The conference room is directly across from two single beds that run the entire length of the cabin. In the private office, the two-seater divan can also be converted into a full-size bed for those occasions. When you work late and are unable to make it to your full-width private stateroom, a full-size shower and a restroom with all the conveniences of home, in my opinion, make United Airlines much better. I am just thinking about having a shower now. I'll leave it to you to consider that one
Don't tempt me.
and experience some serious turbulence. Returning to the term baggage compartment as used in business aviation, the cargo hold, that was airline jargon, is now the topic. Loading and unloading are difficult because the 737 is positioned so near to the ground. When you consider the cabin's length and the mirror, carrying luggage is comparatively simple. However, if you want an aircraft that can travel 6,000 miles, we'll need more fuel. Most of that distance, airliner cargo can be placed under the floor, and the older tanks we mentioned are mounted below the floor. This system allows combinations of forward and S tanks from 1 tank to 9, and as already indicated, it's a give and take situation. It's able to store 520 gallons of fuel. If we install 9 additional tanks, there will be very little passenger space due to the underfloor space. 6 ox tanks, a standard configuration, will give us a total fuel load of 9,923 gallons, giving us a range of at least 12 hours with reserves. This leaves us with 300 cubic feet of underfloor storage, which is currently in service, but obviously not accessible by way of the 179 BBJ.
This that's happening here is not allowed.
The US government owns and runs 27, and I have no idea why we need that many, when other nations like Australia and India possess 2. Mali, Thailand, and Indonesia each had 1, while the US had 27. Consider that it is now 1.7. Gulfstreams, in addition to the $1 billion in purchase expenditures layers and citations they possess, are staggering. Let's add $5,000 to that. $15,000 per hour for the market. Dollars per hour for fuel. What does a 6,000-mile range look like after depreciation? And even with $1 million a year for crew, you can pretty much go non-stop from New York to a lot of locations in Eastern Asia and Eastern Europe, South America, and Africa. The Airbus ECJ 318, 319, and 320 serve as the BBJ's primary rivals. 112 of the 3 versions are still in use today, as may be seen here. The BBJ and the Airbus are nearly head-to-head in terms of interior design and performance. However, the Airbus is fully fly-by-wire and has side-seat controllers. What's new for BBJ? In the early aircraft, the blended winglet was replaced with a split skimmadar winglet. Similar to other current production business jets, the cockpit now has ventral strikes, skimmitar tips, and swiveling edge switches that reduce drag and boost range when standard on all BBJs. These new systems have 4 LCDs, can exchange data, and have screens that are considerably easier on the eyes and show much more information.
I'm gonna need direct access to your live feed.
The rudder was a significant advance in the new GE Snecma Safran engines, which are still produced by the same company and are a derivative of the CFM56. The CFM56 turbine wheel's maximum speed limit that restricted the initial ascent to flight level 350 is no longer in effect.
I've developed a strong immunity to all that.
The jump engine also consumes 15% less fuel and emits 15% less CO2 emissions, as well as complying with upcoming Chapter 14 noise rules. I discussed the previous BBJ series earlier. However, when you consider Boeing's current size, as a side note, when the BBJ was announced, Boeing predicted the production of 6 to 8 aircraft a year, with 179 aircraft already in service. This lineup includes the 787 777 and the 737, 700, 800, 900. The $70 million extreme long-range business jets, which are shockingly positioned in the 7,000 nautical mile range category, with an emphasis on lower cabin altitude speed and comfort, hit the mark exactly. It raises the question of whether Boeing will continue to sell business jets. There are now 12 Boeing business jets and 10 Airbus corporate jets for sale. Having no recent sales to report, prices range from $15 to $60 million. If you buy a closeout, you're lucky to come out of this with 50% new airplanes today in 4 years of your initial cost as new. And this is where there is another issue with modified aircraft. They are still airplanes. How do you prefer flying in the renowned BBJ or Boeing business jet, now that you're aware of its existence? Post your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching as usual, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Catch you in our upcoming video.